So first of all, just can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Ed Peisner. I'm a single father. I have 3 children, 2 in high school and 1 in middle school. I've been involved in their schooling since my oldest son started 2nd grade. He was homeschooled for the first year, and since 2nd grade I've been a PTO parent, I've been a room dad, I've been always involved in their life. Till this day, I still volunteer at school 2-3 days a week. My life's mission statement has always been to make a difference in the life of a child. So before this mess happened, I've been involved in my kid's life. Obviously now it's taken a new, there's a new level to it. December 2nd, I was home with my daughter and her friend after school. We were actually making cookies, and I got a phone call from one of Jordan's friends saying someone punched Jordan. And I didn't know what to, I thought someone just punched him. I grabbed an ice pack out of their freezer and I drove to Wendy's, thinking maybe he had a bloody nose. And I got there and there were cop cars, ambulance, kids everywhere. And obviously shock now is starting to take over. He's in the back of an ambulance, just lying there, eyes half rolled back, bleeding out of his ear, blood all over his body, his clothes, his face. Again, as a parent, I'm in shock. I don't know what was going on until one of the kids, said, "Oh, Mr. Peisner, here it is on Snapchat." They recorded it. And I barely knew what Snapchat was. And there it is, as for me to see over and over and over again. They filmed this kid walk up and Jordan was just standing there talking like this to a friend, and someone came in from the side and smashed him in the head, and down he went. And they filmed the whole thing from before, during, while he's lying on the ground having a seizure, eyes rolling back. They're just filming. And then when the guy walks away, they're just filming. And so that December 2nd, that day, my life completely turned. Yeah. Has anything like this ever happened? No. I've never been called to school for, a fight, for a bad grade. Again, I never have to get called to school because I'm there a lot. The teachers all know me, the principals know me, everybody knows me there, but no, I've never had an incident with my child, any of my children for that matter. This was life-changing. What was my immediate response? Was shock, obviously. I really didn't know what to do at that moment. I left my daughter and her girlfriend and my oldest son home with cookies in the oven. I assumed he needs an ice pack. He was taken to West Hills Hospital. We were trying to, ambulance took him there, and I followed quickly behind, trying to get information from the police. And again, never being in this position, I'm taking names, I'm asking questions. But really my focus was Jordan. I held his hand. I was in the hospital at West Hills the whole time. And then the head of the ER came out and said, "Listen, he's got a severe brain bleed, and we've called for a helicopter to take him to Children's Hospital." And that's really when everything got very Twilight Zone-ish. Everything started to slow down, and I was not comprehending what was happening. That my son was about to be airlifted, and I couldn't go with him. I didn't know if I was going to see him. I get chills still thinking about it. Yeah. You have children, so when your child hurts, it hurts you equally, in my opinion. When your child's in a hospital and their brain is bleeding, I can't put it into words. My life, I felt like my life could end right there. It was over. This is my child. This can't be happening. That's what I kept saying to the doctor. This cannot be happening. I don't understand. I kept looking at the ER doc saying, "I don't understand what you're saying. This can't be happening. What do you mean his brain is bleeding? What do you mean they're taking him to another hospital?" Well, he spent a week, a couple days in the pediatric intensive care unit. He spent a week at Children's Hospital, Los Angeles, great hospital, very happy about them. You know, it's only happened a few months ago. So we're really just beginning this whole, as I call it, the new normal. The immediate aftermath, I mean, obviously he was moaning and groaning for a week with severe headaches, still bleeding. What I've learned from all the neurologists that saw him, and you know, he was close to having brain surgery, that they were back and forth on whether or not they were going to take out this blood clot in his brain. What I've learned is that brain injuries are sort of an unknown area. They're like snowflakes, they're all different. You could fall down out of a chair and bang your head and have a concussion and be dead in 6 hours, or you could take a nasty fall and nothing happens. They're all very different. Jordan's was a traumatic brain injury because it involved swelling and bleeding. And to this day, right now, a few months later, he still has a hematoma that we're keeping an eye on by MRIs. But they don't know, because you don't know with the brain. It's the brain. It's a very unknown map. You know, they've told us that we have to keep an eye on everything. They told us he can no longer skateboard. He shouldn't be doing any contact sports. Anything where he could injure his head could result in something worse. And I can't take that chance with my son.
What's it like dealing with that degree of uncertainty?
Nerve-wracking, you know. For me, you know, I'm an adult. I'm, you know, 50 years old. I have to deal with things a certain way. For a 14-year-old boy, telling him, you can't skateboard anymore. You can't get on your bicycle anymore. You can't try out for the football team this year. Telling a 14-year-old that's very difficult. It's hard for them to grasp it. He's doing really well dealing with it on an emotional level, I think, but he's having trouble getting it out. He did write something beautiful the other day about, my life's changed a lot over the last few months, but always look at the light at the end of the tunnel, and he really expressed finally. It's the first time in a few months, so for me that was a good sign, but it's hard to deal with. It's, you know, I think about it every day, every hour of my life. I wonder, how's he today, or when he gets a headache. And now I'm super vigilant on that. Are you okay? And I'm the extra. So the recovery process, obviously he's back and forth to Children's Hospital a lot. We have a lot of follow-ups. He has permanent hearing damage in his right ear from the punch. He lost some pitch. I can't really explain it medically, but when they did the test, some of the pitches that he hears are no longer heard by him. Nothing we could do on that. They said that's pretty much permanent. Will it affect him a lot right now? I do see it. I'll call him, or I'll ask him to say something, or I'll talk to him, and I get a lot of the what? And I'll say sorry, and I have to repeat myself a lot more than I've ever done before. As far as that, monitor headaches. Again, he had a headache the other day. Monitor the severity of the headache. Is it a 1? Is it a 10? Is it a 5? Got to mark those down with the doctor, call them, let them know. It's just, I'm hypersensitive now. I'm hyper aware of everything. I watch everything. I make sure everything's okay. No skateboards, no bikes, no contact sports. What are you doing? You know, I'm just on a very monitor level now, more than I've ever been. Yeah, you know, that's why I call it the new normal. We've made changes, obviously, more so for Jordan, unfortunately, than for me. You know, my changes, I've always been a helicopter parent, and I am flattered, by the way. I want to make sure, I think being a helicopter parent is good. I think being involved, and, you know, being involved is required today as parenting goes. You know, it's not an option. It's not optional. Your involvement in your kid's life is required. Because of social media and everything that I didn't have growing up and my parents didn't have growing up, I think that you need to sort of helicopter parent. just for that involvement. I want my kids to be able to leave the house, have a good foundation, go out on their own, work. I don't want them to have to come back to daddy for everything. But I also want them to know I'm here, I'm involved, I watch what you do, I hear what you say, because it's a new frontier for them. So this new normal for me just meant that my 10,000 foot elevation maybe is 5,000 feet now. I'm just a little bit more down there. As for Jordan, listen, he tried out for the football team last year. He was eager to try out this year. That will never happen, ever again. Telling a 14-year-old, you could never do this again, or skateboarding. You might not be doing that anymore, because the neurologists have told us multiple times he had a brain injury. The brain's been injured, right? It goes through a healing process. But if he falls down and smacks his head again, we don't know what the results are, but it could be a lot worse, meaning he might not get back up. There might be seizures. I don't know. And I'm not willing to risk that for 20 minutes on a skateboard, or for a football game, or for jumping his bicycle. I can't do it as a parent. I will tell you, I probably shouldn't have, but I researched brain injuries for adolescents, future, I've gone on to Google, WebMD, and every other site you could imagine. And unfortunately, there are, and I hate saying this with my son around, but he's heard me say it before, there are higher instances of Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and many other degenerative brain diseases from injuries acquired at a young age. So, do I know what's going to happen? No. Am I concerned? Yeah. I've lived with, my mom's been battling Alzheimer's for 6 years. And, she's in her 80s, so this is something that, but knowing that there might be a 2% chance, or a 2% increased chance that something like that can happen to my son because of this, that keeps me up at night. Right when I got to Wendy, right when I got there, and I saw the police and the cops and the ambulance, everybody, one of the kids, when I jumped out of the ambulance, he was in the back of the ambulance, and again, because I volunteer in all the schools and I'm in the drama department and all the kids know me there, I said, "What happened?" And some boy ran over to me and said, "Look, Mr. Peisner, it's on Snapchat." And again, I looked at him and I said, "I don't even know what Snapchat is. Explain." And he showed me the video. I didn't. My initial response was I took my camera out and recorded what I was seeing, because someone said it's not going to be there forever. It disappears after an hour or 24 hours. They put it on their storyline. This is what I was told. They shared my son's worst moment ever in life. He could have died. This life-changing event, they shared on their storyline, as if this was, entertainment for them. So my initial, my gut, I recorded it to have a copy of it for the police. And then it was just complete astonishment. How is this happening? Again, I wasn't focused on the social media aspect as much as I was focused on my son right now. When the dust settled and when we finally came home and started to step back into life again. I came home, the cookies were still in the oven. Life stopped. My house froze still for a week. It was quite surreal when I walked back in. Nothing moved. My water bottle, my glass, my coffee, and everything. So as we started to adjust and get back to that, and I started this, turning a mess into a message type of movement, that's when the social media, all the research I was doing and finding all this out about social media and getting emails from hundreds, almost thousands of people across the country. Oh, this happened to my child. This happened to my child. And I knew someone has to say something. I'm just trying to say something. Entertainment. Why else? I've driven I've walked around, I've been places where I see something happening, a car on fire, you know. I saw a plane land on the street one day, you know, like a little Cessna plane. And I see people out there, oh wow, and they record, you know, the tail end of it, or they'll drive by the car fire. I did it. I drove in Calabasas many years ago. The whole hill was on fire. And I'm sitting on the freeway because, you know, it stopped. So I took my camera and I filmed it. So this is cool. Well, look at that. The whole hill's on fire. But I didn't start the fire, right? Or I didn't tell my friend, go start the fire. What other reason would you follow somebody before an attack, film it, watch them have a seizure on the ground, follow the guy walk away, and listen, it's one thing if you want to do it and say, police officer, here's evidence. I did it just for you. Then why share it? Then why post it to your story unless you want people to look at it? And I don't know. The answer, I don't know. Why do people do that? It's my understanding, at least from what we've gotten from the detectives and everybody, there were 3 parties. One girl asked a boy that she should go hit somebody. He should go knock somebody out. That's what we're being told. She should go fight somebody. She told him to fight, I guess, a certain boy who never showed up or wasn't there at the time. So she, I guess, still wanted to see him fight somebody, and Jordan was walking out of the restaurant, just sort of standing there with his French fries and his friends and his skateboard because they were going to go skating. And the other girl had her camera out, standing, waiting, followed him up, knowing this was going to happen, and, you know, recorded it. And, you know, she told the police officer, I tried to stop it. You know, if you try to stop something, you tell the person that's about to be victimized, get out of here. You don't, it just does, you know, and the cops, the detectives said to me, unfortunately, here's technology and here's a legal system, right? Technology is moving at such a rapid pace, but the legal system goes very slowly. And recording a crime like she did, it's just not a crime today. And they've all, the attorneys, the detectives, everybody, parents, they've all said it has to be a crime. It should be a crime. What if you drive the getaway car and you don't rob the bank, but you're still an accessory? It just hasn't caught up to technology yet. And that's why I'm here. I'll walk into the schools, and I've spoken at a lot of different schools about bullying now, cyberbullying, and what happened to Jordan and what we're trying to do. Schools that I've never even knew existed. So, you know, the other end of the valley, and kids will come up, oh yeah, I know, I saw the video. I said, really? They said, oh yeah, no, I saw it. Someone shared it with me. And these are, you know, 25, 30 miles from here. I don't know them. They don't know my son. I don't know them ever. I've never met them. You know, they've seen the video. So I don't even know how many times. There is no purpose. Why would you share hate? It's a hard concept for me to even, it's a hard question to answer, a hard concept to, why would you share hate? Why would you share violence? What do you get from sharing? I'd rather share a kind act, you know? I mean, hold the door for someone, to do something nice, share that. It's the negative that people like to look at, yeah. Right? It's that sensationalism of, wow, like I said, I saw this fire. And again, but I recorded it so I could show my kids. So you're not gonna believe what I saw today. Yeah. And the whole hill, and I've never been so close to a fire before. I was like, wow, this is unreal. Yeah. I can't believe the whole mountain is, you know, the whole hill's on fire. And that was that. I showed my kids, I'm like, check this out, you know? And that was it. They posted this cowardly, ridiculous attack on him because it's a sensationalism of it, right? Everybody look at that, look at the bad Why do, like you asked the question, why do you think people share it? I don't know. Legally, they're all minors. So legally, they can't tell me anything. There was an arrest made for the person who assaulted my son, but as of now, there was just one arraignment, and we're waiting to hear about the future arraignments. We really don't know. Because they're juveniles, they're not sharing a lot of information. Amazing. I don't know if overwhelming is the right word. It's been incredible. I have received too many emails to the point where there's so many I can't even reply to them all. But emails, messages on Facebook. So again, not all social media is bad. People have reached out to me with the most beautiful words of support. I have a box of letters that people have sent me, balloons and gift cards for Jordan, and it's been amazing. It's restored my faith in humanity. I was a broken person when this happened to my son. I was absolutely destroyed. Inside I wasn't me. I broke. And this has helped to restore my faith in humanity. So it's been wonderful, and again, sadly, I've received a lot of these that have shared their stories the same way, that this is happening all over. And we're so glad that you're doing something about it. And we support you. I mean, we have 2,000 signatures on our petition, and that keeps growing. It's amazing. The support has been truly life-changing for me. I try to say that I haven't changed my path in life. I just sort of merged with the new one. My path has always been to make a difference in the life of a child. That's just always been my path, if you will, my mission statement. Because quite frankly, at the end of your life, at the end of your days, what matters most is that your children remember you, and you made a difference with the children, and not to quote Michael Jackson, but they our our future. So the silver lining, I guess, would be, number one, I have Jordan to talk to every day. He's here. I can't even bring the words, so I have him in my life. And our bond is even tighter than it was before. It was tight before, and now it's, super glue tight. The silver lining is, I think I found a way to turn this mess into a message. And if I could help one child, if I could affect positively one child and help them if they're bullied or cyberbullied, just help them with their choices, then that's my silver lining. Jordan's Law, yeah, absolutely, which is, it's being announced in March. It's a bill that they're submitting. I was contacted by the local assemblyman for our district, and when he heard about this, and again, anybody with a child knows that this could have been their child. It was just random. And I told him, I can't believe it's not a law that you could collude in a crime and just walk away scot-free. And he's drafted a bill, I believe it's 1542, Jordan's Law is what they're calling it, which will hold someone accountable. Again, that's what I keep talking about, that accountability. It'll hold someone accountable and make it punishable if you've colluded in a crime, just to share it for entertainment purposes. That's sort of what the silver lining, I guess, will be. And again, if that law stops one person from doing something that they might have done, and maybe helps that person make a better choice in their life and do something different, that's all I ask for. Again, I'll reference what the attorneys, the detectives, the DA have all told me. Technology is moving at a 3-to-1 pace versus the legal system. Technology is going like this, and the legal system's going like this. So it just hasn't caught up. And as we all know, technology is moving at such a rapid pace The legal system just has not yet caught up, and it never will catch up. Actually, the DA told me this is how laws, there has to be an impetus. Megan's Law, David's Law, there's one, I can't think of the name of it. There's all these laws named after that impetus, and someone just stood behind it and got on a platform and wasn't going to stop until that became a law. You know, this is just one. There's many other things out there that we all know need to be addressed. But again, technology will keep moving. So this one law, it'll move this a blip. We'll still never catch up because we know how fast technology advances. Wow, how hard will it be? I guess time will tell. You know, we're just at the starting line right now. You know, they're doing a press conference soon, releasing it, talking about what the actual bill, the merits of the bill, how it will work. But then we go through the process of, you know, fighting the fight until it becomes law.
So could it take a few years?
I've been told, yeah. You know, if there's resistance, but you know what? I'm young. I got plenty of time. I'm not going away. This is my mission. I have to. I have to affect the life of your children, my children, everybody's children. I have to make a difference. Because if I don't, shame on me. I'm as bad as everybody else. Think before you post. My mother always used to say to me, actions speak louder than words, right? I've heard it a million times in my life. Now, think before you post. Think about what you're doing. Every school I've spoken at, I say the same thing. There's one word that this all has to do with. It's choice. Everybody has a choice. Record this thing, put the phone away. If you see something, don't grab your phone. Go over, help. If you should help. You know, I'm not saying get involved in a fight or stand in front of a gun or something. And I'm not saying to not record something. I'm not, you know, again, if you see a crime and you're far away and you record the license plate and give it to the police and they catch the criminal, great. But if someone says, I'm going to rob the bank, I want you to film me robbing the bank, or I'm going to go stab this guy 10 times and we could watch him bleed, unfortunately, that's happening. It's not just what happened at Jordan. There have been stories of worse violence, all recorded for social media. So to the children out there, I would say, you know, eventually there's going to be a law. Someone's going to be held accountable. And please just think about your actions, you know? You know, where I live, LAUSD has their protocol for bullying. Do I think they're doing enough? I probably don't think they're ever doing enough. I think that they need to focus on cyberbullying, which again, I was pretty much unaware of. I didn't really understand cyberbullying until I've received articles, newspaper articles from parents about, you know, the hardest thing for me to ever talk about, which is children committing suicide because they were cyberbullied. I don't know how you address it. I really don't. Other than educating the kids and the parents constantly, over and over and over again. I think the schools, a lot of the schools, have their hands tied. You know, as far as what they're allowed to do, this is all we're allowed to do within the guidelines of, you know, LAUSD or New York USD or whatever. Do I think they could do more? Yeah, I do. My website, you know, jordanstrong.org, we've partnered with a bunch of different anti-bullying websites. And there's a lot of material available for people. I don't think the schools use all of them because I think they have their own. But I think they could probably always do more. Yeah. Being involved is not optional anymore. You have to be an involved parent. And again, I'm not saying all parents are uninvolved. You know, I'm not judging anybody. I have 3 kids. I'm a single parent. I have joint custody. We go back and forth. I am as involved as I could be while working and, you know, all the other things in life. Parents need to follow their kids' social media, not just their regular accounts, but their private accounts that they make. You know, here's the parent account and here are the ones I have with my friends. Again, as a parent, I'm not saying hover to the point where they can't do anything. They're hiding everything from you. Know your children. Know what they're doing on social media. Social media has no guidelines. There's no restrictions. There's no age limits, like movies and TV and drinking and smoking and driving. It's a free-for-all. It's the Wild West. There's nothing. So be aware. Ask questions. Be involved. Ask their friends. Ask their teachers. You know, go to the school. Volunteer for an hour. Walk around. I do it. You'd be surprised what you learn in 45 minutes during lunch at a middle school. You'd be surprised what you hear and what you learn. And, you know, give it a shot.